What is going on, guys? How are we doing? Today, this video is going to be a little bit different to the ones that I usually put out. So I haven't really planned anything for this video. I'm just going off something that I've noticed as a common trend with so many men over the last couple of months, years, and decades in my time in the fitness industry. One of the things I hear so much is that we don't have time to do our workouts. We don't have time to prioritize our nutrition. We don't actually have time to make the change that we know that we need to make in order to get to our goals with our fitness and be healthier and live longer. Now, while I do absolutely understand that life can get very busy sometimes, and it can be extremely hard to get in and get your workouts done sometimes and actually do your nutrition and look after what you're doing with your food, I also like to call bullshit on anyone who tells me that they can't prioritize 90 minutes in their week to get in and do their workouts and another 30 minutes in their week to look after what they're doing with their food, because that's all it really takes. So I want to show you the system that I use with all of my clients inside the Life Lift Repeat project today. It's a very simple system. It's a completely free app. It's not my app. I didn't create this app in any way, shape, or form. I've just used this for quite some time to help you prioritize your time and schedule in the things that are most important to you so that you can actually have the time to get your workouts done. Because it's very similar, and it comes down to similarities in data tracking. So I'm very big on data tracking. If you watched any of my other videos, you'll know that. If you don't track your workouts, you won't be able to see if you're making progress. If you don't track your nutrition, you won't be able to see what you're doing with your food. If you don't track your schedule, then you won't be able to see where you're actually wasting time. And 99.99999% of the time, what I've seen with guys in the past is that they just don't prioritize their training, and they use an excuse saying that they don't have time. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have the time to get your workouts done. There's plenty of time in a week. We all get the exact same 24 hours. I heard an analogy before. Someone told me, remember when Barack Obama used to be president of the America, president of the United States, and he used to get up every morning and go for a run. And someone said to me, if that man can get up and go for a run every morning while also running a fucking whole country, one of the biggest countries in the world, then why can't we, who run our own business, or us who work a 9 to 5 job, get out and do our workouts? And it really hit me hard. So I want to give you this system today. This is the one that I use. It's a completely free app. It's called Google Calendars, and I'm going to build it from the bottom up with you, exactly what a normal working week would look like for someone. And I'm just going to take an example of a guy who works 9 to 5. He's a family man. He's got kids. He's got a work life. He's got a social life. He likes to go out at the weekends. All of this sort of stuff, the usual common stuff that I hear from guys who say that they don't have time to do this sort of stuff. All right, so that's kind of what I'm going to break down today, and this is going to just be like free flowing. There's no script or anything or any sort of notes or anything for this. I'm just fucking banging this out so that you can see how we do it and how simple it can be for you to have the time. So let's open this up and let's have a look. So I've just, for the purpose of this video, I've just created an example calendar. Obviously your calendar won't be called example calendar, but you'll see on the calendars page, I've got all different types of calendars already in here that I have pre-programmed, depending on what sort of week it is, depending on what it is I'm doing with my life. So like this is a mentorship that I'm on at the moment. They have live calls. And they can layer over your current calendar as well. So you don't always have to have the same calendar on ticked. This is my actual calendar. Birthdays, I don't know why that's there. It's pre-programmed in. This is like a dream work week for me. If obviously I run my own business, I plan my own work weeks. This would be like a PT work week. So if I'm working on the gym floor, this is kind of the one that I will tick. And then this is the gym that I work out of, the classes that run in there. So I've got all different calendars for all different things, but we're going to keep it nice and simple for you today, my man. We're literally just going to keep it to one calendar for everything for now. Okay, so let's imagine, first and foremost, the first thing that you need to put on your calendar is your work commitments. Because think about it like this. If you don't work, you don't make money. What happens if you don't make money? You die. Obviously, you don't die if you don't make money, but if you don't make money, you can't eat. And if you can't eat, then you die. So number one priority for you as a man who's working a 9 to 5 is to get your work schedule in there every single week. So say we're doing it for this week. Let's just say today's the 26th. Let's plan it out for next week. All right, we'll go to the 29th. Imagine we're starting on Monday. We're going to go 9 to 5 is your work schedule. So we're going to go 9 and we're going to drag this down to 5, 9 to 5. And we're just going to put in work. first and foremost, we'll keep it as yellow as the color for this one. And then we're going to just change the repeat time on this. You're going to work Monday to Friday, every weekday, Monday to Friday. So once you put that in like that, every week when you click into your calendar, work is automatically pre-programmed. Now, obviously, I know you'll probably have time off. You'll probably have holidays and stuff. You can come in and put your own holidays in manually when we get there, but we won't do that for just now. So straight away, before anything else happens in your week, your work schedule is already in there. So if you say that you're working late or whatever, then you obviously just extend this out here. So say you're going to work till 6, you're doing some overtime, you extend this one, and it's just this event that you're changing. Then you worked an extra bit of work on Monday. Simple enough so far, right? Now, imagine you say as well, in the start of the week, the most important priority for you is to spend time with your family. Then what I would do is I would leave white space as time that I'm spending with my family, as in this space in here, because that way it's the second most important thing. It's going to be in there. You're going to prioritize everything else around that. And then everything else outside of this is family time. So basically what I would do is I put everything in first, and I leave loads of white space in there as well, so that I can either 1, do catch-up calls with my clients, or 2, spend as much time with my partner and my daughter as I possibly can, or my brothers and my mom as well. So I highly recommend, if you're working regular shift schedules, I'm just going to put this back to 5 just for the sake of this. If you're working regular shifts, as in like 9 to 5, you're not on shift work. Even if you are on shift work, you can do this as well. I still recommend you wake up and go to bed at the exact same time every single day, if possible. All right. So what I would usually do is I would wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Now, I don't expect you to have to do this. You don't have to if you don't want, but I would always just wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I'll get my breakfast. So that's what I'll put in here as well. Wake up and get breakfast. And I would change that to a different color. I usually go for a peach. And because I'm doing it every single day, I'll just put it on weekly, Monday to Friday. You have a little bit more of a relaxed schedule at the weekends if you're not working. And I'll just wake up and have my breakfast at 5 a.m. What I also like to do in the mornings, now this is just my morning routine, but this is kind of how I plan it, is I like to just read 10 pages. And it won't take me half an hour to read 10 pages, but I do give myself just half an hour just to sit down and just read 10 pages of a book. Again, I'll make that peach, and I'll do that Monday to Friday as well, just to kind of improve your skills and get your brain working for the day ahead. A lot of people like to read in the evening. I find when I read in the evening, it actually switches my brain on, and it stops me from being able to wind down in the evening. I'm going to go through bedtime routines and things like that in this one as well. So let's just say you want to train 3 days a week. You've said to yourself, I want to train 3 days a week now. I'm working 9 to 5. I'm waking up at 5 every morning. I need to try and get my workouts in. I need to get a shower in the gym before I go to work, and I need to fit it in somewhere. You can choose then. You can either train before work or you can train after work. You've got all this white space. This is what you're working with at the moment. This is before you put any of your other commitments in there too. So I like to train in the morning. If I was working a 9 to 5, I wish I was. I'm not. I don't wish I was. I'd hate it. But if I was working at 9 to 5, I would be putting my training in here somewhere in the morning. So assume that it takes you 15, 20 minutes to drive to the gym. Give yourself a little bit of a buffer. I would say, let's just say you're going to train Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I would say from 6:30 then, because obviously you've got this spare time here to drive, till I would give myself an hour and a half in the gym. You don't have to. That's an hour for a workout and half an hour in the shower. You're not going to spend half an hour in the shower. Always overestimate the amount of time that you're going to spend, so you get ahead of yourself and you can have more time. So I'll say gym, and then I would just change this. The color I usually use for the gym would be orange, and I'll just save it. And then what you can do is you can come in, you can duplicate it, go to duplicate, just click save, and you can drag this across to other days that you're going to do it as well. Wednesday, and then you can do the same on here and drag it across to Friday. Straight away, you've got time for the gym in here without anything else being in there. Your gym is in, it's scheduled, it's prioritized. You don't start work till 9. Assuming you don't have a massive commute from the gym to work, you've got a whole hour in here to kind of get yourself ready for work after your shower, and you get home to either grab a bit to eat or just kind of wind down and get ready to go. When you finish work, then you can throw in some other stuff as well. So I'm just trying to think of an example of someone who would work those crazy hours. Maybe on Friday night, you like to go for pints in the pub, and you always go out from 7 o'clock, and you'd kind of stay out until about maybe 11 o'clock. Or we'll say, 7 to 11 o'clock. You can just come in here and you can just put in like pints with the lads. Pints with the lads. And then you can put in I don't know, we'll put that in purple, say, and that's going to happen every week. You can probably put it to repeat every week, but we'll just put it in points for the lads for this one. Still got this white time in here, so if you've got an hour of a commute, you still have an hour before you go out for points with the lads, and you've got all this spare time in here too, still. So that's your points with the lads. That's gone in as a priority. What else? Just trying to think off the top of my head now. What else could you put in here? Yes, always schedule in on top of, say, your work day, where your lunch is. So I'm assuming you're going to take a lunch break. You need to stop and eat at some point during the day. So just put it in on top of your work day. I just put it in as lunch, and I'll put that in as the same color as my breakfast because I associate the same colors with different things to do. And you're going to repeat that Monday to Friday. So then you got your lunchtime scheduled in there too. You know lunch is coming. So then already you can't say you don't have time to eat because you've got your breakfast in here. You've got your lunch in here on 5 of the days during the week straight away. All right. And that's in your schedule. You're like, okay, I need to have my lunch at this time. You get a reminder on your phone if you get the app on your phone to go in and look at all this stuff. And it will keep you in the right direction. Again, I highly recommend that you try to keep things as routine as possible. Try to have things at the same time every day. So let's just say you're going to come home from work in the evening and you're really lucky like me. You get home and your missus has dinner waiting for you. It's the greatest feeling in the world. You don't have to cook. Well, maybe you do have to cook. You give yourself a little bit more time. You're just going to come in, you're going to put in dinner, and you're going to change that to the same color as you have lunch and breakfast. And you're going to repeat that Monday to Friday, and click save. And there you go. You've got your breakfast, you've got your lunch, and you've got your dinner in there every single day. Now, obviously, if you're waking up at 5 and your lunch is at 1, that is quite some time to try and go without eating. So I don't always recommend that you do that unless you're like really good at being able to manage your hunger. So maybe just before you start work in here at 8:30 if you're commuting or if you're driving to work, if you're working from home, even better, just have a little snack. And just get into the habit of having a little snack. You don't need half an hour for a snack. Surely to God you don't, but you can still give yourself half an hour. Always overestimate the times in here because there is a lot of time in a week that people don't realize that they're wasting. So there's your food all planned out, right? So you've got your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. Snack in the day, in the diary, done. All right, you still have all this spare time on Saturday and Sunday, all this white time that you can use to spend time with your family. You've got all this white time on Tuesday morning, assuming you're getting up at the same time every day. You've got all this white time on Thursday morning. You still got this white time to get from the gym into work, and you can have a snack in the process of getting there. And you've got this white time before you even get home to get your dinner as well. You've also got all this white time in the evening again. You can use this for family time. If there's anything coming up, events, whatever, you can throw that in here. So anything could happen at the last minute. Like you don't know, work could text you and they could tell you that your work schedule is changing and you're moving from the 9 to 5 shift and you're going on to the 11:30 to 7:30 shift. You just change that event and then it just moves it around. And you can just plan your other days around that then. So like maybe you might have your lunch at 1 still, but your dinner might be a little bit later that night. So maybe you'll have your dinner at 8 that night and you just change that event. You can just drag things around really, really simply. So this is a really easy tool to kind of help you get up to terms with what you're doing with your time. All right. If it's not in here, like the more detailed information you give into this calendar, the more that you use it, the better result you'll be able to get out of it. The deeper you'll be able to actually manage your time over a longer period of time. So I recommend just sitting down on a Sunday evening or even on a Sunday early, at some stage on a Sunday, just schedule it in for half an hour, 45 minutes, not even, maybe 15 minutes, and just schedule in for the week ahead, right? And what the scheduling for the week ahead can mean is, if we put this in a different color, we'll put it in blue. If you go into the description, you can just add a description for yourself. When you're scheduling for the week ahead, you're doing your calendar, like what we've just done here. You're going to do your nutrition. And when I say nutrition, it's literally going into MyFitnessPal or going into whatever app you use to log your nutrition and just putting in what food you're eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way through. That gets rid of decision fatigue when it comes to going and eating your nutrition. And then you're going to schedule, just make sure that you have your workouts in there as well. And you know what you're doing with your workouts. And that's what you're scheduling for the week ahead. And you just spend half an hour on a Sunday doing that. It doesn't take a huge amount of time. You can do it on your phone anywhere in the world. And then you've got all this white space to play around with and put stuff in. I'm obviously not going to go add in too much stuff into this, but assume next week came around and we're in here and you're away on holidays from Tuesday to Saturday. all that I usually do for that is I'll just keep this here maybe, and I'll just layer over holidays on top of it, and I'll just go all the way down to like a normal day for you. So let's just say you finish at 6, come all the way in, and I'll just go holiday, change it to a different color again. My color for holiday is usually blueberry, and click save. And then all you're doing is you're just duplicating that here. I'm not going to do all of these, but like you're on holidays till Saturday. So you have one here, all the way up until Saturday. And then normal routine just continues on Sunday then. So it's pretty simple system to use. It's completely free. You can just, if you're on the computer, just type in Google Calendars and this will come up. You log in with your Google account. If you're on mobile phone, you can download on the Android app, the Play Store. I'm not a rep for this app. I've just been using this app since I was very, very new to the whole running my own business thing. And this basically eliminates your need to give yourself excuses to say that you don't have time. Because if you can look at a page here and say, this is all stuff that I've planned. Like imagine, I don't know, say Sandra messages you on Tuesday to say, do you want to go for a coffee or do you want to go for dinner together? I don't know, do you want to go out for a meal on Thursday night? And you're like, well, I'd love to, but I've already got dinner scheduled here. You just say, no problem. You just change this here to 7, click OK. And then you just change the event and just call it dinner with Sandra, for instance, right? So it's pretty simple to use. It's a simple system, but it just takes the level of bullshit that you can do for yourself away so that you can no longer say, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. Because what you'll find is, and I found this recently, a lot of your time goes to social media. A lot of your time goes scrolling through your Instagram feeds, scrolling through your WhatsApp feeds, there's no feeds on WhatsApp, scrolling through your WhatsApp, scrolling through your Facebook, and just kind of repeating that. You actually get hyper aware of your screen time and how much time you're spending on all these apps. You'll be realizing how much time you actually waste. And there is plenty of time in the week. Okay, so even if you wanted to train 4 days a week, you can just put another gym day in there somewhere else. Maybe you pull this one back here and you put another one in here on Thursday. Maybe you do one on Saturday morning. You've still got all this white space in here as well. So as things come up in the week, the calendar will get more and more full. And if I just give you an example of what my current calendar looks like in the week, it's not massively stacked or anything like that. So I will put this in. I will put, what else did I have in here? Pro. There's definitely something missing off of this calendar right now. Oh, this is for next week. Yeah. So this is my calendar for this week. So this is kind of how I would schedule my week with all the different colors. If I've got PTs on the gym floor, I'll schedule them in here. If I need to make improvements to my online course, that's the way I'll do it. And obviously I run my own business, so it's a little bit more free flowing. I even schedule when my partner's training because I look after the little one at the time when she's training. So I will schedule my routine will obviously work around her routine too. So you can work alongside with people with that too. So it's pretty simple to do. It's really easy to use. That's an example of how my one looks. I highly recommend that you use it because it will change your life, to be honest. If you can really nail it down and you can really get into the habit of actually scheduling ahead, you will be able to perform at a much higher level than ever before. So, and another thing you can do in this is just the tick sheets. If it would load, that'd be great. And you can just add tasks. So what I usually do in here is if I've got a task that needs to be done by the end of the week and it's an urgent task. So for me, I always try to post 3 stories on my Instagram page just to show up and so people can see me. I always try to do 10,000 steps a day. And at the end of that repeats every single day. If I've got work to do for clients and stuff like that, I should take that one off. That's done. Any of this sort of stuff that needs to be done, I will come in here to my tick sheet and I'll just tick them off. And that allows you to feel the sense of achievement of, oh, I've just done something on my to-do list. That's ticked off. It's done. On we move. And you can even put points with the lads into your to-do list too, if you want, if you're away for the weekend or whatever. And it's that simple. That's how you can plan your week. So that was it. We're going to keep this episode nice and short and sweet. This video is literally just to give you an idea of how I manage my week, how you can manage your week. It's probably nothing to do with the fact that you don't have time. It's probably just that you don't have the priorities there to go to the gym every week. Probably that you don't have the priorities there to prioritize your nutrition. Now, there is obviously exceptional circumstances when you're really, really run down, when you're really, really busy, when you're sick. All this sort of stuff comes into it too. This just gives you a basic, fundamental kind of overview of what's involved with it. All right. So if you want my help building that out, I can build it out with you. I have no issues going through building this out. Just drop me a message on Instagram anytime you want. We come back and forth on this. Even if you want to build one out, screenshot it and send it over to me, and I can have a look at it for you and be like, okay, that's really good, or that's maybe not so good. Maybe we should move this around or whatever. I've been planning my workout, or I've been planning my schedules for years now. So I've gotten fairly good at managing my time and getting things done and right or whatever. More than happy to back and forth it with you, dude, if you want. But other than that, that's literally it. That's the simple framework that I'm using to make sure that I have time to get everything done in a week. And life just doesn't feel as chaotic ever since I started using this. So highly, highly recommend it. Appreciate you watching along as always. And I'll speak to you very, very soon.